Hello and welcome back to another deck showcase. It has been a while, which I apologize for. I had a lot going on with family and health. I can elaborate on that if anyone wants to know, but that's not why you are here. I have continued to play UA. That has not been a problem at all. I've been really looking forward to Sword Art Online, Black Clover, Bleach 2. There's a lot to look forward to. My wallet is kind of in danger, but let's get into the deck showcase. This is an Asuna Goddess package. I am looking forward to this deck primarily because I like decks with intricacy that's not just play the unit down, which I feel like a lot of early sets have, or that could just maybe me primarily playing Purple Bleach. Probably that. Regardless, this is Asuna. She is kind of the main force in this deck. She reminds me of playing Todo, which might be why I like her, because Todo was my favorite deck beforehand. She is a 4 energy, 1 action point, yellow, and raid. With the one, when played, you choose one character on your opponent's front line and one on their energy line that has 1 less energy, and you can swap them. Well, they can be rested first, and then you can swap them if you want to. You can also use this ability if you have 4 or less life, which this deck primarily is based on taking your own life and gaining valuable abilities because of that. So, she's primarily the main force to be reckoned with. You get her down, you can swap them with one of their energy, disrupt their backline, and it just feels really dirty, and I love that. A control style deck that messes with their energy line, I'm here for it. The other raid unit that we have is the Sun Goddess Solus Sinon. Whew, that is a phrase to say. She is also a 4 energy, 1 action point, but 3500 BP with the raid effect. When played, during your turn, this character gains all abilities listed below if you have the required amount of life. Similar to the blue Hunter x Hunter, she has stackable abilities depending on what you have going on. For the most part, when played, this character gains Snipe. That is the main one that I really do enjoy. If you have 4 or less, which is pretty easy to do, you can just start picking people apart, which can throw your opponent off. So if you're picking out their like low cost blockers, or even if you have 4,000, they're high cost attackers, and then you're also using Asuna to disrupt them, you can really mess them up, and I'm really looking forward to that. If you have 3 or less, this character gains 500 BP, so you're at 4,000, and if you have 2 or less, you have impact. That was kind of the biggest issue I ran into with Blue Hunter x Hunter, was you'd have all the tools set up, but you had no impact without it being this weird amalgamation of things required. So I'm glad that this has impact on there. So it's sort of like you have 2 less life, and you throw her down, and then you can go for game that way. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, those are only the 2 raid cards that we are using. The other goddess is Leafa, or as my friends call her, Leafeon. She is just a 4 energy, 1 action point, basic character that has nullify, impact, and impact. And when played, you may add 1 card from your life area to your hand. If you do, this character gains 2,000 BP, and they cannot be targeted by your opponent's events, sites, character, or trigger abilities until the end of your next turn. So she is a safe 4,000 BP character, which is really good in how many KOs there are and how many decks you're running KOs. So you drop her down, and she's safe, which can apply a lot of pressure. So when we are looking at the deck, right, that's the primary goddess. Is 4 really 5, 4 of each of them. So the other cards that we have in here, we'll start at the beginning. Asuna, fairly basic, just 0 cost, throw her down, add to hand, trigger, the typical energy. The Asuna 3 energy, 1 action point. Actually, before I do this, I should mention all of my decks I make on Xburst. I'll have a link in the description below. You can go there, you can mess around with different deck lists. They do get them as soon as they're able to. They don't have all of them, but they also have the Japanese cards up if you want to see some of the cards that come out in the future. But it's a fun site. They have some community-based events there to do, so I'm a fan of them. I use them, so I want to at least thank them for that. And you can find my deck list on there as well. Getting back to this one, Asuna. Right. This is our color trigger. So 3 energy, 1 action point. When played, you may draw 1 card. You may add 1 card from your life area to your hand. If you do, draw a card. She used to playing Purple Bleach with the with the Ishida. So this card's great for just giving 2 energy. We really only need 4 energy in this deck, so it's not that big of a deal to have this. Like, you can actually use this to attack if you have the energy. Getting 4 is not really difficult, but early on, you drop this down, you have a 3000 BP just character waiting in the back wing, and then you can just throw her up 3000. Pretty good pressure, honestly. After that, we have the 1-drop, the 1 energy, 1 action point Asana. So we run a lot of Asanas as targets, but this one also has, if you have 4 less life, this character gains 500 BP, which is, again, 3000 BP for 1 yellow, for 1 energy, 1 action point. You could kind of go for a swarm build with this and catch people off guard. I could see people cutting out maybe 2 of them. I like 4 for now. We'll have to see how it goes. Sinon, we covered. This is a basic one. Nothing to really say here, but it does have a trigger. We like our triggers. Draw a card. After that, Sinon, Sun Goddess. I love this card, but I'm also torn if I want to keep it in or not. This character, once per turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand into your sideline, and this character gains snipe. The caveat is they cannot snipe characters with 2,500 or more BP until the end of the turn. So this is mostly just snipe the chump change at the bottom. That's why I might take it out, but we really don't have a lot of Sinon-based cards. We only have 2 here. So I figure we need the raid targets. And it depends on how many low costs are actually in the front lines. I can definitely see it being, like, on its own. 2 energy, 1 action point, 3000 BP. That is great. That is just cheap, easy, and efficient. So I could see this being played just for that alone. And, you know, if you are playing other decks that try to swarm the board, like Hashira, you know, you can just start picking up the little bits and pieces out there. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. It depends on what happens with the meta, but yeah. I'm excited. We covered Leafeon, and again, a 0 cost. I usually run about 10 to 12 0 cost cards. I think in this list I'm running 10 right now. I was running 12 before, but sometimes you just hit too many and you want something with more impact. Which, speaking of duration, this has nullify impact. So again, it's great for just stopping all the impacts that start to run around at this point. I love this card. 0 energy, you know, great. Here's another card that we'll see. It gives 2 energy, which again, you don't need a lot of energy. You only need 4, so having 2 of these kind of fulfills that whole requirement. But it also has draw a card and place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. I love that effect on cards. I love card draw. You will be discarding cards with this deck, so seems efficient, and the trigger's nice. 3000 BP. I like it. I'm running 2 for now, because I'm also only running 2 of the Leafeon. I want to take 2 out and go down to 10 and 4. That just feels risky. And the last character we have is Lisbeth. This is just more energy generation with 3000 BP. I want to try and get my energy out as fast as possible, but this card also lets you look for more goddesses. So it's just 2 energy. Sorry, it gives you 2 energy and it searches. Great card, 4 of. Happy to have it. Other than that, we have our typical. I keep misclicking. Other than that, we have our final trigger for these. Some people run 2. I don't like that, because if I have one of these in hand, I'm usually going to draw an extra card if I can. So it just feels like having this is guaranteed for, not guaranteed, but like you have a chance to gain a life and turn the game around, but you also can just, if the timing's right, you can combo. I don't know. I like 4. This card. I want to make room for 2 more so bad. This follows my love of control, but unlimited landscape manipulation. 4 energy, 1 action point. Choose one of the following. Choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line and up to 1 character with 1 or less energy generation on their energy line and switch them to resting. If you choose 2 cards, you may swap them. It also has the ability choose up to 1 site with 1 or less energy generation in your opponent's field and sideline it. I don't know how efficient sites are going to be, but that first effect is so good. You can just swap and completely mess people up, and sometimes you mess with their energy line when they're not expecting it or they don't play around it. That can win the game right there. So I have 2. Only 2. It has trigger as well. I want 4. We'll see. And last but not least, we have our special. Radiant Light. Choose one character on your opponent's front line with 5,000 or less BP and switch it to resting. It will remain set to resting the next time it will be switched to active. If you have 4 or less life, you can sideline it. This is just great. This is just, there's no caveat. You can just rest to 5,000 or less. And then if you have 4 or less, which you will have pretty easily, you just KO it. You don't have to have Ozzy on the field or anything. It's great. Love it. So, other considerations. I was looking at the Kirito line, not because the effects kind of add to each other, but because he's just right here in front of me. Joking aside, TSA, ugh, trauma. Tease was one other option. We have no Chew energy, like no Chew cost cards besides this one. So that turn can be hit or miss. I would consider having 2 of these in. This took me a while to kind of figure out if I wanted to add it in or not. Only because I like this. It was between these two. And I chose Finaccio. But if I whiff my cards a lot, I'll probably add Tisei into it. We'll have to see. Other than that, the rest are mostly just for the other package for yellow. You could look at Ronnie Arabelle, but again, there's no cards I'd want to add back to my hand. Right? We don't have like a 0 cost draw 1, so I wouldn't want to add anyone else to hand. Silica, you could add in, give some plus 1,000. That's okay. Tempo's kind of slow, but you can definitely make it work if you're trying to be more aggressive and just go for like an aggro build. And UA is pretty typical. I want my targets, like I'm running raid targets. You can add UA in instead of this one, but Nullify Impact's also good, so pick your poison. I probably wouldn't add more than 2 of these in, depending on the build you're going for, and Elizabeth we had, and the rest is for the other package. So, again, X-Burst, you can find everything on here. That, obviously, these are coming soon, so they don't have all the fancy, shiny versions up yet, but you can find a lot of the Sora Online cards here to make your own deck list, but this is mine. My name on there is right here, TCG. I'll put a link in the description below, but if you have any questions, please let me know. I do apologize for kind of being absent the past few months. There was a lot going on, but I appreciate anyone who takes the time to watch this, and I will see you next time. Take care.